Oh man. One more day. One more day and we get new cards. Hype, hype, hype. What are we watching? What are we watch partying? We're watching a few videos actually. We're gonna shout out a few different channels here. Obviously Harlan's channel. Some great content. So we're gonna watch two videos off of his channel actually, short videos, and kind of chat about what he has to say at the same time. I actually haven't watched these yet. I wouldn't watch them a second time. I just don't rewatch things. So like, hopefully it's good content. All of his content so far has been like pretty fire. And I got the oh, this is the other video. It's like I got the first comment before I even watched it. But let's start out here and see what he has to say. I figured we wanted to start with predictions of what he thinks is going to happen. This is also 3 days old, and I want to kind of hear like what concepts could change from this to his next video, like testing wise, what has really changed it. Let me make sure Brave is here. Let me know how the volume is. Let's see if I can match his side so it looks like I'm actually part of his video. Well, I don't know if I'm going to like that then. Sapphire is okay. I just prefer steel. I also think it really depends on whether or not the Sapphire Steel deck is going to have swords. On how much I'm going to dislike playing it. There's a Sapphire for that. I think a lot of the set's very good actually. Maybe I'm just looking through rose tinted glasses. Cinderellas are good. It's like Diablo and Cinderella mixed together in a weird way. Try to figure that one out. He's like, I love her, and she's going in my decks. I only have a little bit of buyer's remorse for my foil Oswalds. Just a little. I mean, they're worth more money than I paid for them currently, so I guess that's fine. That seems pretty absurd. I love that Zeus hits it. It's one interesting thing about the card. I understand that this is like it's more background, right? Or like little twigs and stuff. But if you just glance at it, it looks like it scribbles from someone writing a signature or something in the background. It kind of looks like it's like a reused piece of paper. Someday our Oswalds. It's just the game's always going to be that way, right? It was dominated by ruby, amethyst, and amber steel for a long time, and now it's kind of shifted to ruby sapphire. And that. Oh, this battery came out. Oh, I put it to auto. See, my background looks better now. This card. It's good, but I think it's just a little overrated. It's still very good. Yep. I mean, it kind of just replaces Ice Block. I mean, you have to change a few things because 2 versus 1 is a little different, and the deck's like designed for certain play patterns in the early game. Whatever Sailor says everyone should play in the first week, basically. And then you're going to have, like, the DKP camp. I don't know if you play this in that deck, honestly. It's like the Sapphire deck that probably doesn't gain Tamatoa. Like, he could get away with... He somehow gets away with, like, 4 Flaversham, 3 items, or 3 Flaversham, 4 items, and it works for him. But I don't know if you can also just jam Tamatoa in there with only 4 popsicles. But maybe. Maybe you can. But I wouldn't. Yeah. Sapphire Song. Let's go. I do like that Sapphire Steel is doing the same thing that Amber Steel is doing, where you have like this song, whole new world control tempo combo deck, and then you have this like aggressive low to the ground, take advantage of some cheap songs while just like beating down. Sapphire Steel Song, yeah. Sap Steel Song, Sap Song. It's like one of the reasons I didn't like the name Steel Song was because man, that was so like abrupt. I think I'm gonna take that one off of the playlist. Burn. Boop. This card is hot. It's Sapphire Steel's. There's a lot of people in my area that play it, so I've been aware of it for a long time. It gets too much attention. It's very good at beating decks I like to play. That's really what it is. I'm definitely going to be jamming a lady deck like on day one. It's going to be like my aggressive deck. I'm going to try like my aggressive non-amethyst steel list. I'm going to update that, which is going to be like the basic
Zafnan
here
with a prime
is
sub.
the deck from last season that needs the least amount of work to like upgrade, like, which is close between the Sisu on ice and that, but this is like we had Cobra go to the tank and then like, all right, we still have a few other cards to swap up, where Sisu's like kind of probably the same. They're about the same there. Thanks for the resub, Zerf. Bup, 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 bup. I think some people are trying that out. I've never heard of anything about the Queen. I don't know why people are talking about that card. There's also like the fringe combo decks in that archetype. I think people are going to try to build some crazy like Tramp Chernobog decks. The Chernobog deck, babe. The Chernobog deck is definitely gonna be this set's like Speedway deck, like hands down. Fun and crazy combo. So what, we had Jafar, then Speedway, and now like Tramp Bog. All right. Make sure you give the video a like. Just play it in the background with the sound off. Give them some views. So that's a pretty good video to start with. Bog Dredge, yeah. Then we're going to jump over to Artabax's channel. I guess that's the link for just this video. It's a very short one. I didn't want to watch his entire podcast on stream, like hour plus long. We might watch Two Scrooges, even though it's a little long, but we can watch that at 1.3 speed, I think, very nicely. But you should definitely go check out his channel and listen to the Articast for sure. Ooh, actually, I can even shout out his Twitch if I spell it right.
Hey Red Storm 36.
I think that worked. All right, well, let's check out what LD has to say about Bell's impact. Yep. So he's right. He is right. You'll get to see the crazy algorithm that watching music and having Lorcana videos and then having a son who watches a lot of random old video game and kids thing. You're going to see some algorithm stuff there. But it's already happened. And it's been something I've actually complained about way back in the day. And it's like, it's kind of like a little bit of it is Steel's fault, really. Like, Steel naturally holds down aggro, and Sapphire Ruby holds down Steel. But it's like weird because it's not a perfect triangle. Like, the aggro players just stop playing aggro decks and swap decks, right? And that's what you would think the natural evolution of things will be. So there'll be less aggro decks, so then therefore there's less decks for the steel decks to prey upon. So then red-blue will have less predators and red-blue will win more, beating the steel decks. And then theoretically, less people should play the steel decks because they're losing to Ruby Sapphire. But that just does not happen. Like, the Amber Steel players are stubborn. You're stubborn. Like, I understand the joy of it. I played it all through set 1, and I played a bit of it in set 2. But the stubbornness you have is why it's not playable. Like, you have to give the deck up for a little bit. So what it preys upon can start, like, breeding and multiplying. Like, basically you are eating and like eating all the food. There's nothing for everyone to eat on. Like, there's just too many predators for the food supply, and you're starving while the apex predator is eating you all off. Like, if the steel players would just either pick up Ruby Sapphire or Ruby Amethyst or an aggro deck that's not steel, Ruby Sapphire's like play percentage goes down, and then more aggro decks see play, and then voila, you can play Steel Song again. You can play a random steel deck and crush an event, and that is how a metagame should happen. But you have these stubborn steel players that just won't give in. They just won't let go. And some of it is, I will blame the scarcity of DLCs a little bit. From in season 1. If there was like twice as many DLCs, I think it might not have happened the same way. But what would happen is the EU and the NA DLCs like offset each other, and there's like the joke that NA plays Steel, right, and EU doesn't. Well, some of that is because the way the metagame was naturally falling out, that it was like, oh, Steel's overplayed here in the United States, so the meta is dominated by Steel, so people in EU would play the decks that beat Steel, right? And then they would beat Steel early, and then it looks like no one plays Steel in EU. Even though if you go back and, like, the main reason EU Continentals had so many red-blue was there's, like, a few reasons for sure, but one of them is, like, almost all the LCQs were won by Amber Steel. Steel, like, Diggy Diggy Hole was everywhere in the LCQs the day before, and people were very afraid of it. So a lot of people last second changed to red-blue to counterpick what was going to be popular. And you had a French team of like 13 people all play the exact 75 magic pilled here, like the exact same 60. So that's going to skew it as well. And you get this event with like a 30% Ruby Sapphire, and then you have 3 red-purple players make day 2 out of 7. Some insane conversion rate because they were designed to beat red-blue, which overcompensated, which is how a meta should work to an extent. But because it flops between the two regions, people assume it's all steel here, and some people will stick on that. They're like going into the stereotype that NA is more steel-based. Short story. Just give up on your deck if you're getting counterpicked really hard.
Hey, Mr.
Counterpick the deck that is beating you that you don't like to play against. If you go to your locals and some person is beating you a Steel Song, swap over to red-blue and show them the business. Like, make them change their deck too, and then you can play a different fun deck. Like, I guess that's difficult to do if you can't afford to buy more than one deck. So maybe that's just a privileged opinion of mine. I'm sorry. I refuse to play red blue in part on principle, and in part it's too cheap to buy I'm too cheap to buy sharks. But I think it's too good versus blue steel decks. So I'm looking at discard, possibly. You don't need sharks now. You just need Tamatoa. Let's. How much do we think Tamatoa is right now? $46 is not much. That's not much. I want. Okay, yeah. That's. I guess if Shark was too much for you, I can't believe Shark's $25. What is this? Damaged. Damaged. That makes sense. It's like, what's going on? What is going on? $40. I mean, this is fine. I think this is reasonable. I think Diablo is underpriced. I think Robin Hood is maybe not overpriced, but like is super powerful. It's low. There's a high chance if a whole new world sees play, like Robin Hood might go up again. Sisu dropped to 20. Why? I just bought my last one for 28. Why did it just drop down to 20? Do people not realize that so everyone's doom and glooming on Coil and then the price of Sisu goes down? If you don't have Sisus, I'd probably acquire them if you're going to play red blue. That's not financial advice as much as if I was in that scenario, I would acquire them. They might go down more, but I think it'll go up. Like there's two versions of Ruby Sapphire. It's like Sisu items and DKP Shark, right? It's like you play Shark or you play Sisu. Shark might be worth more money though, simply because there's probably going to be some Ruby Amethyst lists, burn lists that maybe run Maui Shark in it and some like other burn stretches. Pre-selling at $16. It's going to go down most likely. Like this is either going to break a deck or just be like one of the rares you hate opening. I don't think there's going to be like a middle ground for that at all. All right, well, because the amazing JDZ Quests is not here for once, we love having him on this channel for sure. We're going to watch one of his videos. We're going to pretend he's here when he's not here. So you said there's a better way to do this shout out. Is it still exclamation point? Is it just like exclamation point shout out? Or do I have to do something else, you think? JDZ Quest. I think I gave the wrong link the first time. I don't think that worked either. Huh. But let's see what... We're not going to... I don't know if we should watch the whole video, but we'll watch some of it. Wow. We're going to be watching these videos at a fast speed. Hey, I know that guy. Do you want to come in and watch your own video with me? Yeah, I totally shouted out the wrong channel the first time. S tier, baby. S tier. Yeah, JDZ Quest. is amazing. Although he's too, how do I phrase it? Like he's too good at being a YouTuber. Maybe that's the wrong way to say it. I think he knows what I'm trying to say, but I can't say it. The D? Bruh. JDZ. Support a D? I mean, I would agree. It's not fantastic. It's a, like, D should just say limited. It's a limited keyword. It's good in limited. I like it in limited, and limited, it's like a B. But constructed, yeah, it's unneeded. I'm actually not a huge fan of Reckless. I kind of wish it was like worded in a way that said this character has to challenge before it can quest. Like I kind of want some Reckless characters to have lore pips. So then you like have this thing where it's like, oh, I have to quest just so that Reckless character is not questing to make them challenge. Like right now, Reckless is like, oh, I don't want to quest because the Reckless will challenge it no matter what. Like they can't even make the mistake of not doing it. Now it's just like, oh, I need to do this to force them not to quest. Earl has a support deck that's working well for him. Interesting. I mean, Chicha's pretty good. I assume Chicha's in it. Okay, yeah. I mean, that would be probably the best way to do it. And honestly, after playing, I tried to build I tried to build a deck to take advantage of all of the plus effects. As Dave said in one of his, in I think it was the first Scrooge. It's like people just aren't, or it was it was some podcast. He basically was just like, people aren't using the tools that RB's giving us. So I was like, all right, fine. I'll build a deck with the tools they gave us. I'm going to build a deck with Minnie Mouse. I'm going to build a deck that has the world's greatest criminal and Teeth and Ambitions, right? Like, let's go. I found out that this card does not work the way I thought it did. It only targets your own characters. So I guess we can go back and put 2 coils in the deck. I had Coil in the deck at first, named the deck after Coil, and then was like, actually, I think these other effects do the same thing but better. Does it? Coil costs 2, right? Yeah, okay, I'm just blind. But there's like a few things. I was like testing out Simba as like another way to do it. So my thought was try to build the deck like the Amber Steel Mines list, right? We're trying to be little aggressive characters that are using some cheap songs to answer characters. I mean, this obviously isn't a song. And then we're using characters that have removal attached, like Minnie Mouse, which is kind of like a cheaper-ish Lady Medusa that quests for 2, you know, like there's the thought process there. And then we're using Juliet's and Mother Knows Best and Rapunzel as like our quote-unquote draw engine, which is also kind of weak. Like that's this deck's biggest issue is draw power, I think. Hands down. That's going to be like the big problem, which is why we're playing Julietta. It's like, we'll take the 1 draw. I'll take it. Give me. It is missing some sort of extra card draw. Oh, this should be public. Nala New Prince. Challenger's all downside. I like Challenger. Like, I like that it gives this you can be aggressive but not defensive type thing. I almost kind of wish there was like an opposite. Like, this gets plus strength when it's challenged. So make me a 0/4 that has like, we can't say defender, right? Like, because is defender already a thing? Maybe it's not. Like, put defender on it. Like, when this is challenged, it gets +3 whatever, or make it a keyword that just says that means when this is challenged and you get an effect, and you just make the first wave of it like defender gets +2 strength or something like that, and then you have something only strength based in the first set, and then in the next set when you bring the ability back you like dabble some more. It's like defender resist 1, like, so it only has resist when it's challenged, you know, like, which is also relevant. You could then put it on a character to make it beefy in combat but easy to removal, right? So there's lots of different ways to go. All right, well, he talks about bodyguard. I'll do squats. Whew. I guess one problem about challengers are it naturally makes them weak to brawl effects. But Hook, like in set 1, Hook and Prince Eric saw a lot of play. Where would you rate my mechanic, JDZ Quest? Probably also in C. If you don't like Challenger, you wouldn't like it. True. Yeah, Zerf, like, it's interesting because, like, Legitimate makes a good point. If it was reversed, it would seem like a negative. It seems like it would not be a buff, but a nerf, right? Oh, when it's challenged, the character gets nerfed. Instead of, oh, when it challenges, it gets a buff. Like, there is like a weird connotation to that, like an aura to it in a way, like it's your character, it's getting better instead of your character's getting worse. It's interesting. Resist A tier, I think so. Bruh. Shift is so interesting. It's like one of the core aspects of Lorcana, right? It's like one of the things that makes Lorcana a lot different, or at least as a Magic player. it's like shift is like, how are we rating this? Is this a power level or how much we like the ability? Like I would put it as like a B. I kind of like it. It's pretty powerful. It has some of the most powerful cards in the game, but it's also like a major like it's a cost. It's a heavy cost. So like the characters have to have something relevant. As I've said it a lot of times, like if you're not singing something to instantly gain value when you shift, it's almost always card disadvantage. Like if you get hit with removal, if they banish it, it's just like normally a pretty big setback for you because that's 2 turns. Like it's not like, oh, I paid 4 on this turn, it's not bad. Yeah, but you also paid 3 the other turn. It's 2 turns of investment. It's kind of like Echo from Magic, but it also takes a card from your hand. Shift also makes songs way harder to balance. But I think now that they've kind of seen where things are, I think that could allow them to adjust the power level. Like that song that deals 1, or that action that's like 2, deal 1 to 2 characters. That's all it does is an inkable song like that. That could be a song. Like easily. And I think should be. Like we need more playable-ish songs. And but I guess that also like knocks aggro down. We just need look at target player's hand, they discard a character of your choice. All of a sudden control gets a lot weaker when you could hit Sisus out of their hand or sharks. Like that's what Amber and Emerald need. Like they need hand discard answers because those are normally the colors that, like, yeah, with steel they're really good, but like you add them with amethyst, they're a little bit weaker. A Pete for characters. What color? Like honestly, that's a sapphire card if I've ever heard one. Jackie over here not being able to hear us because they're at work. But yeah, bare necessity for characters would be good. Like hit characters or locations. Or just like non-action card. Oh, I better like it because his thing told me to. Downvote it for that. There does need to be more counterplay to Big Sisu. Sapphire is fine. We just need to get rid of Flaversham. Or if you got rid of Popsicle, like all of a sudden, like Flaversham's not even an issue, which is crazy to think. But like, it's almost as if they just didn't realize that Popsicle and Flaversham go in the same deck. He would like Flaversham would be so much less oppressive if he wasn't drawing cards off of things that drew you cards. I have to play the game. Oh yeah, the like subscribe thing. No, I added it. I don't know if you heard it earlier. There's a sound clip in my playlist that says like and subscribe in like a funny video game accent, and I was like, I guess this is maybe something to put in. It's kind of funny. There's 2 of them. There's another one too. I was gonna just add it as a something you can spend your points on. I mean, that makes sense. Check out this new one I made.
I just don't get it.
Wait, why didn't it pop up on the screen? What? Oh, I think this needs to be up at the top. I'm dumb. Alright, let's try it now. Send test alert.
I just don't get it.
I just love that it's just right there. It's still there. How long is that gonna last? I just don't get it. Bruh. Dude, my echolalia right there. JDC uses like random sound bit, and I'm just like saying it immediately. Wizards has been loving green more than blue forever. All right. Go jam the like and subscribe button on him. Give him them views. So this was something else that was noticed if you want to read along. They kind of announced what is going to happen. I love that one. I'm going to replay it. I like it. Just like how China is going to have some events ran, and hopefully some of this comes over for us. Like some of it's pretty interesting. Like big tournament qualifiers that feed into a big event, which feeds into a tournament. Simplified Chinese Championship tournament. Interesting. I'm assuming that. So I know that they were saying like common in some things, and people were thinking it was meaning. Yeah, it says all participants will receive a common promo. So there's either like one or two things that could mean. That could either mean the non-foil version, because I guess it says these lovely, and this says common here, but oh yeah, all promos given are only available in common. So to me, that is a translation thing, and when it says common here, it means simplified Chinese. It's referring to the language. Because the card's in simplified Chinese. I've seen a lot of people be like, "Oh, they're commons. Like, are they giving out a bunch of them?" Like, and I don't. I think that's just a misunderstanding. But I do like the layout here. It's kind of like a regional style. It's like local, regional, and then NA. Like this is our NA Continentals here, right? And then it feeds to World, and then Challenge, and so these are like like the DLC, or interesting DLC qualifiers. No other details, so who knows? It's interesting. Ooh, that'd be neat. It doesn't say though. So we're not gonna watch through this video, but I'm gonna link it, and I want you to go watch it sometime and like and subscribe. Like the The videos I'm going to watch with you are interesting. It's going to mostly be people's takes, opinion-based ones, so I can go along. Whereas in this video, he goes over how to mulligan and stuff like that. And while I might do that on a deck I go over, since I don't play a lot, I feel if I just watch this video, it would be stealing their content. So I do recommend going and checking this out. This is a new program series. It's a new series that J-Bomb's doing on the Ink Thieves channel, which should be pretty cool. So check that out. And now we're back to this lovely gentleman. If you want to go give a like on that video and watch it in the background while we go over it, you'll notice that he lost his glasses, but it gives him a nice dreamy look. So the last video he's talking about how he thinks the meta's going to be in the first week, and now he's going to go over how he thinks, like, what he would be buying in the first meta. He's so quiet. Oh, he's ill. Losing sleep over Sapphire Coil. Ooh. So he already spent 200 on his set, basically. That's interesting. Yeah. Let's hope my cases come in time for tomorrow's stream. Can't wait to stream tomorrow with no product to open and no set 7 cards where I just sit there and cry. Bells should be super easy to acquire, though. I'm so happy I picked up foil Zeus's for like $2. They like went up right after that. I had to have bought them at like just the luckiest low. I wonder how much the foil bells are, though. $10. Dude, it comes as a 3 of in the pre-con, and it's pre-selling for $2 a piece. That price is going to plummet for regular copies. Like, there's, like, Popsicle is like 30 cents. Hey, Queen. Like, if Popsicle's 30 cents, like, Bell's not gonna be that. Like, they're both in pre-cons. Don't buy the common versions for more than like 50 cents, and that's if you like need them. Like, just buy the pre-con if you really need them, get some extra cards in a booster and help your LGS out instead of like buying the singles. Unless it's your LGS selling for $2, then maybe like chastise them as you buy it anyways, I guess. I don't know. Foil pops did just jump up to 12. I actually was quite upset with myself for not buying a playset when they were 4 each. The $10 foil bell, like, that's different. Like, I think that's fine. It's kind of frustrating. I'm actually sad about it. There used to be a period of time that you had a few weeks to acquire good foil commons. Like, they just didn't go up in price really, and then this world occurred where people were like, I'm just going to buy foils of any card I think will be good. And all the foil playable commons are now just like out of the gates like $5. Like $2 to $5 uncommons, like 5 to 10. $10 and $17. I mean, it is a secret rare. Remember that Cinderella Stouthearted came out at $20 and is now like $1.50, but it's like a solid 2 of. Also sings Zeus. I do like that they're like, this does not apply to singing songs. Like, I kind of want to see one that does. Make it like, oh no, you have to sing with a 7-drop now. Like, this Gantu is way better in a deck with songs than a deck without songs. This will always be in those. I mean, this is just an aerial for items. This is good. Instead of being singer, it costs 1 more and has big stat line. And you can play it for free. Seems pretty good in blue steel. In sapphire steel, 8 pop. Did I miss him talking about Bagheera? Was I like rambling when he talked about Bagheera? I want to hear what he has to say about Bagheera again. Man, he talked about Bagheera a hot minute. Oh, he just wants it for like the mirror. I'm not sold on Bagheera. I would be happy opening them. More than Bagheera. Bagara? I can't remember. Megara? Megara? The inability to say that names made my Twitch come out. I Twitch. $10. Lady definitely should have been the promo in a pre-con. Those are like, huh? How would I claim? Like, I always said Steel Song was like Delver of Secrets. Like, I guess I always said it was like Miracle Grow. So I guess Mines is like Delver. I actually don't think Blue Green would be that good into this because you're playing with Ursula too, right? So, like, sure, you have some powerful songs, but you could get them taken out of your hand, right? Yeah, Ursula's just good. But you don't really want to play Lady on turn 2 necessarily. Or all right, I'll talk after this video. We'll talk about some Lady. I think the fact that this is $10 says some things. This is number 1, I think. It's too expensive. It's something you basically have to have if you're going to play Sapphire. Bells are common. You don't need to worry about her. I think Bagheera is way overpriced. I would be trading them and trying to re-get them between $5 and $7. Then eventually it'll see play. I might end up being completely wrong, but I like how I paused it literally a second before the video ended. All right, let's talk. Let's delve deep. Let's do a deep dive on Lady. All right. So there's a few different Lady decks that could be played. Right. Some of these are older than others. So like this one is just trying to be like I'm gonna drop some. This one's all right. This one's pretty jokey. I mean, it's got this in it, right? So this version's cute. Uh, but if we wanted to Sugar Rush Speedway in a new archetype, like this could be it. But like we could easily drop this card and the Sugar Rush and have like possibly an okay-ish deck, right? We just want some cheap locations we can drop to take advantage of Fix It Felix. So that way when we play Lady, we could also use it to maybe draw cards. But it's just go fast style thing. That one was kind of whatever. This one just shows more of kind of what what Harlan was talking about there. It's just you want to go super fast. You want to be aggressive. And I think a lot of people at first look at this and think it's bad, but like think of it as you have why is Dreamborn being poopy right now? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 1-drop 2 questers. Like 16 of them. Like really increases the chance of turn 1 double lore, turn 2 double lore. And you can play the tramp on turn 3 with a 2-drop. This deck plays 1, 2, 3 drops in it. Like we got Kit and Coda. But realistically, like it's a high chance that you're going 1-drop into 2-drop into 2-drop 1-drop or 1-drop 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 2-drop 1-drop. Like almost a third of your deck is 1-drops. A third of your deck is 1-drops if you have a Lady. So like all right, so our deck is 60 cards. We've got 4 ladies. I guess how do I change it to have, is it like I have to do 8, but then that's still not going to be right. Maybe I do it twice and then adjust for, I'm going to do 8 1. So like 40%, 44% of the time we have a lady, and then 44% of the time we have a tramp. So the 44 and 44. So it's like a lower amount, but I can't remember. That percentage of the time. So maybe we'll just say like 30% of the time, our tramp will be like, if we have drawn the tramp, we have a 45% chance to also see a lady. I guess if we have a tramp, then that would make our sample size 1 less. So we could lower that technically by 1. So we have about a 40% chance if we already have the tramp to also have seen the lady. It's kind of a little bit of manipulation there. It's probably not perfectly done. But in those scenarios, like, we get a really... Am I on the wrong one? We get to really have a lot, like... It's a lot of 1-drops. But that's also a downside, right? We're going to just, like, dump our hands, like, super fast. Not including the altar. Yeah, I guess I wasn't even doing that. So, like, technically, like... If we count full mulling for lady and tramp, like... So, all right. If we keep a tramp in our starting 7 and full mulligan, but after our first draw, if we're on the play by our turn 2, we have a 66% chance to be able to play a lady on that turn 2 and then do it the next turn. Or we have... If we full mull after keeping a tramp, we have a 64% chance to hit the lady to play on turn 1, to then play tramp on turn 2 to turn on the lady. 12? We have 7, so it's 6 plus... Oh, yeah, right? Like... Wait, no, 13. So we have 6, we draw 6 more, so that's 12. and then we draw 1 for turn. So 12 for on the play, 13 for on the draw. Yeah, you're right. I'm silly Billy. So 60% chance. That if we go for that mulligan. Now the thing is we don't need to do that at all because we have these, right? And this deck is going to be one of those decks that has an abundance and a repeating of cards. So the only card that you really like, Rapunzel and Lady, are your non-things. So if you play Diggy Hole, think of it this way, or like the Mines deck. It's like this is your dock, and this is your Rapunzel's Rapunzel, and then Lady is dock. That's your card advantage. Your removal is Kit and kind of Sven. Not fantastic on removal. You're more aggressive, like you're going farther under. So instead of the songs and removal, you have that, but you kind of have the same card advantage. A little less because you can't sing Storms, obviously, but like the concept of having at least 8 card draw is there, which is not enough. I mean, I'll happily say that. Like, I want to have 12 card draw cards at least. But Lilo is like a form of card advantage. Ursula is a form of card advantage. There's some forms of it, but there's just like also just a lot of ways you can build this deck. Like you can go combo and try to go Chernobog or like Stitch Pride Lands. Man, this list is terrible looking. I don't know why I went with the Flynn package, but maybe Prince John was in this list at one point. I'm just trying to jam questers, but I'm surprised there's not even Lady in this list. Or Tramp. Why is it called Tramp Storm? Oh, it's missing 4 cards. So it's been that long since I like edited it. Just add 4 of the 7-drop Tramp. Still not a huge fan of this list, even after we add the Tramps in. I think this can be done a lot better. This was an early list. And here's like a Shere Khan style where you're just like going super aggro. I couldn't bring myself to play 4. I was playing 3 Shere Khans and 3 ladies, and I just upped it to 4 ladies and 2 Shere Khans. I know price tag isn't how much it costs to play. I think there was a little bit that I was like, it doesn't get banished right away. It's also a prince. That's why I'm playing it. It's because they're princes. So it makes the Pride Lands. Like you can move all 3 of these to Pride Lands. That's why I'm playing it. I'm so smart. This list is also kind of, I'm not a huge fan of it. This one, though, I think I've had some, like, relatively good success playtesting against Ruby Sapphire. I actually was up in games against Sailor with this. That said, the games were also insanely close. And, like, one of them he drew poorly. So, like, it could have easily been the other way, right? I think one of the plays I made in a game that ended up doing really hot is I like returned Lilo and then played a Gazelle to give it evasive, so he couldn't challenge it while it was like exerted from the rebuy. And then it's just trying to take advantage of Morph. So like we have extra targets for Lady to shift on, but we also now have Clarabelle targets. So we've got like the 4 Morph, 4 Clarabelle, 4 Lady. So we can pretty easily shift Lady on turn 3 for value, like to challenge something if we need to. Like if we played a 1-drop and they answered it, and then we played a Morph and they didn't, or if we played a 1-drop, they answer it, turn 2 we go Lady and like another good 1-drop. If they somehow answer other good 1-drop, then we're in like value town, which I don't think that's going to happen. But I'm also fine just like playing it on turn 3, getting 1 character back and continuing the beat down, right? I think this is like not bad, and it's kind of where I'm going to be starting with lady lists at the beginning. I built this deck after the set review with Shadox. I don't know where I want to put it. I just added the Naveen's because the only way I could have sang Whole New World was Mulan and Ariel. Like Mulan getting lucky and Ariel doing it, so I felt like there should be another way, but with 22 songs, a third of our deck gets hit by Mulan, and we get a little bit of filtering, and it also gives us like a turn 2 singer to sing Zeus if we really like say we're facing against a Daisy Duck and like we just need to deal with it, right? Like being able to sing removal, take it out, especially if they're on the play and they quested, right? We can shift this sing, and it's unlikely they can really answer it. But I mean, if they played a Smee, it trades, and that is like obviously not super great. But at the same time, like Mulan is or Daisy had drawn us a card most like it's probably okay. There's could be some bad scenarios. We don't want to like use that and then they're like, oh, I'll play Penny, pump my or like give my Smee resist, take out your Mulan and have it not get banished to end of turn, and then the next turn they play Rapunzel. So like there's play patterns we'd have to play around. There definitely is, but I really want to just shift this on turn 2, quest and flop a Whole New World, or flop Storm to sing on their like turn 1 Daisy. You know, like most of the songs I would be perfectly fine topping on turn 2. Like Bare Necessities is not fantastic. The I'm Still Here is interesting. But it does create new play patterns where like you kind of have to play your cards before you quest the Mulan, because if you hit a Whole New World, you don't want to like get punished by having not played your cards first and all sorts of weird things like that. This seems to be like one of the fun archetypes. Like we are slowly getting to the part of the game where you're not going to know what your opponent's deck list is just because you know their ink combination. And even then, like, you're gonna maybe a turn 1 Mulan gives it away, that like after a little bit you're like, oh, they played a Mulan, I know they're on this like weird Mulan song deck, which probably will play different than mine's, you know. And maybe this is too cute. Maybe Mulan is really good, but like it shouldn't be on a Whole New World. Maybe the Whole New World shouldn't be in here, and Doc should be in. And then instead of Prince Naveen, like realistically, that could give us some leeway. While it seems wrong, the deck doesn't have a lot of ways to sing a Whole New World, but there's some like okay-ish songs we could be doing. Like I really want to play Look at This Family. Like it's probably not near good enough, right? But at the same time, it's cute. And maybe this is it time for I Find My Platinum? Is like the workshop deck's that scary? Like, hey, it worked that time. On this screen, I can do full screen without it being weird. I've not tested out Green Steel. I've made some brews, but I have not played the games. I have not played very many games at all. I probably have like under 30 games, under 20 games of Set 7, just because I'm trying not to use proxies. And I've been like pretty busy doing other things, so I haven't had the time to play in my non-streaming time. Let's see. What do we... I mean, Swords is cute, but... Huh? What do you... like? Realistically, if we're playing Ursula's and Ariel's and Mulan's, like, it's not that hard to get to 10, right? Right? Like, the problem is this, for 10 ink, we still don't even take out two Tamatoas. Copium, yeah. And it's uninkable. How many heroes do we got? How many heroes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, the problem is, how many heroes do we want to challenge with? 2? Maybe? I don't think 1 Last Hope is good enough. When my life will begin... That's that. I do kind of like that thought process, actually. Like, if we're hitting it off of Mulan, being able to save it. Sensor Core is interesting. The problem is like, not actually good against B-Prep. $12 on inks. I don't know about this card either. Oh, we could play this, though. If we're playing Doc, we need to put Doc in the deck. We do need to add the Docs to the deck. That's why the onion count was so low. So I do like running the, like, Be Our Guest and that other card. Like, Be Our Guest is way better in our deck if we have Doc. I mean, if we have the Doc, I don't see why we don't just... Don't mind if I do. Question is, how do we fit all of this stuff? Like, is Calhoun better than Ursula? I was playing Lilo because it's, like, cute with the Mulan. We do have to cut 11 cards. And this is all... I mean, I guess it's okay with, like... Challenge with Calhoun. Seeing this with Cindy, replay Calhoun. That's still just kind of... I'll play 1. It's like I'll play 1 of... Oh, wait, no, this is the wrong one. Play, like, 1 of a few of these just to kind of get, like, the feel of them. And to, like, really throw your opponent off. Like, you've got, like, 5 or 6 different one-of songs in your discard pile. 20 songs, that's not good. We need 22 at least. I don't think... It's like, is this a Calhoun deck? Pete's a great way to not get blown out by opposing Pete's in song decks. Maybe it's not as... It's like too many directions it's pulled. Alright, Lilo, you're out of here. Aggro, competitive, mid-range. So this is probably not fantastic, but I'll definitely play it on stream at least once. And who knows, like, some of it could just be, like, busted. Doc and Rockstar, yep. Ditch the Pride Lands? See, I feel like the Pride Lands is free. Like, I think you're looking at it wrong. Like, the Pride Lands is kind of a... It's... like, the last few sets, it was like your flute. It's something you can play that doesn't get wiped by B-Prep. It kind of lost that allure the last set or so. Like, Mines kind of replaced it. Like, in that deck, like, it's the thing you can, like, play as a threat. And Mines is, like, arguably better because it's inkable. But... Cat L Light? What? feel like I saved the name wrong. I probably clicked the wrong button. Yeah, probably it was just supposed to have one L. And this deck is whatever, but I should have Aladdin's Mine. Alright, so we'll just make one then. So we wanted like Rockstar style, so we're gonna want Daisy. Oh, interesting. I definitely want Cindy to sing songs. So let's try to run both the mines and the Rockstar, or the Pride Lands as like a 1 or 2. Like, so the original Mines deck did start out as a Pride Lands deck, right? Like, it was what he was brewing up before. We have not brewed up Racers yet. Man, maybe we just jam Mulan and Simba here. Even though Mulan doesn't, like, trigger she's not a prince. But hey, the question is this better or worse than Simba? Like, I think we play Simba due to ink ability. Question is, can we play Fix It Felix if we have 8 things? There's gonna be so many cuts at the end of this. Definitely gotta play Piglet. Here's the Pride Lands. We want 4 of those. Yeah, we'll start with 4. Probably cut that down. Like, we should probably be playing Be Our Guest, but probably have Calhoun. There's the other location, and there's the dock. I didn't add Stitch. Am I blind? Yep. Humorously, Smee's probably going to get cut. Which seems wrong and bad. New mini? Oh, I mean, I'll put 1 in. But I mean, we'll put 2 in, I guess. But I don't think it's going to make the cut. I don't think it's very good. Sleepy might be good. But as I said, we're going to have thousands of cuts. Rockstar. What are we missing? I feel like I'm missing cards. It's weird, but this is not a Rapunzel deck. Normally not something that happens that often. Felix is probably just not gonna happen. I know, right? Oh, we should probably put the songs in. Like Cinderella without the removal seems wrong. And Pete. Oh, we're running out of cards. We're already over 60 and we're adding 8 more. We can cut a Pride Lands because we're not all in on the combo necessarily, so we don't need Simba. But we have this Simba if we need to. So we have a king. Is that the only one we have, though? Well, if we're... $21 inks, so... Yeah, that's what I think. Penny could be okay. I think Sleepy is not good enough if we're going to be running Simba. I think Lilo's too good not to play when we have 8 Lilo dumpers. We could probably cut back on Pete. And actually, I don't like Smee, I don't think. If we're not playing Rapunzel, I don't like Smee. We also don't have any captains. It's probably wrong, like, but no, we're going for a certain thing here. 19 innings. Got 1,000 1-drops. Happy is a lot less relevant. We could probably actually cut back 2 mines. It's like just a small removal we can play sometimes. Maybe just with Doc. Like, maybe we don't even need the Happies, which then lets us play the extra Pete. And 1 more Simba to try to get the lock. Yeah. Oh, I like it. That's definitely going to be one of the turn-ins. So this doesn't look too bad. The uni cost is always on the upper left. Oh yeah, I always forget though. Also I need to remember 60, 19. Easy peasy. Only $23 deck. That's crazy. Strength is 14. I don't like that I'm even remotely contemplating buying a playset of these for $100. It's crazy to me that these are $8 more expensive than foil Ursula 3. These cards are so cheap compared to like Magic. I love that this deck, that's like not a good deck, is worth $200. What is so expensive? Maui House Shark, $41 a piece. This, I think this is actually only the value of the cards I don't own. Yeah, because the deck's 190. Okay, that makes way more sense. That makes way more sense. Total $200. Yep, I'm missing $23. I just don't know how to do things. Because apparently I need to update this. Yeah, sure, I'll own 4 of them. There's no way I won't. Yay, I own this deck. So what's it going to say for its value now? Oh, just complete. I guess. Oh, $40. Pookie didn't know how much Maui Half Shark was. There's a $25 damaged one. Foil just sold for $70. What? Did it re-spike up in price? Oh, wow, it did. I think I sold my foil one for $65, so it's like at that same price, but when I sold it for $65, there's multiple $65 ones. I just don't. It's frustrating. I see myself wanting to play Maui Half Sharks, but I don't want to spend the price point that they're at. I just don't think they're worth it. Slash, I'm cheap. It took me so long to buy Rapunzel's. I didn't buy Rapunzel's until they announced the DLC season. Like, as soon as they announced the DLCs, I bought 4 online. Or once I was like, oh, the DLC should be starting, or there was something that I was like, I'm going to be playing in events more, so I actually need this instead of playing budget with like one Rapunzel or borrowing Rapunzel's. Too cheap to buy half Sharks Club, right? More squats. All right, let's start up this other video. And we're going to watch it at 1.35. Let's see how manageable that is. Too lazy to name your own podcast. I'm just a little baby in between them. Make sure you go like and subscribe to their channel. That is totally where I just was, Boomy. Kitty, you almost just murdered me. Get. More like I almost murdered the kitty stepping on him. Alright, I'm losing the pants. You made me exercise enough that it's too hot to wear the pants. That was a lot harder to do with the weights than I thought. I thought that would be easier with them. All right, let me catch my breath while they carry the show. That's the most fun to do, though, Dave. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. It's more fun. Yeah, Trudeau, that's rough. Like when you share cards with people, it's like, oh, we don't need as many to have the sets, and then you realize, oh, what happens when we need 8? Oh. It's like he can't sit on my shoulders because of my hair. I'm trying to adjust. Oh, you little poop. Whew. I was still in high school then. It ain't going nowhere. Burn's probably going to be decent. Some number of slippers. Benja's a king or a prince? Like, you need a prince, right? So Benja doesn't activate Shu. That's kind of sad. It's not a do nothing per se. Now burst to 3. Where does the Luke stop and the cat start, right? Yep. I agree with that. There's so many Tamatoas, you have to be able to Zeus them. Like, Zeus is super important right now. And I am just as like, I assume for the same thing that Scott Boomy picked up is like shooing into Rapunzel or like you can shoe into Rapunzel to refresh a hand or shoe into Cinderella to just burst lore. And that's like a good finish, like especially against Ruby Sapphire where they board wipe you 3 or 4 turns. You can just play a Cinderella and gain 3, like, and then they have to answer the 2/4, which is not that hard for them to do. Let's just get rid of Lawrence. I'm tired of seeing Lawrence. He's just not good enough. I just don't think he's good enough. I've played him. Don't get me wrong, I've won with him. But he's always a card that I just want to cut if I can find a way to do it. The problem is just a lack of, like, 2 quest threats, basically. There's, like, so many single lore pips. Penny helps with that, though. I mean, that's probably good in, like, a mid-range style spot where you're both kind of stuck trading resources and you haven't started, like, to lore race yet necessarily, so you don't care about the big burst as much as, like, great, as much as you would care about drawing a couple cards, but you also have like 1,000 ink. Tutus. It's expensive. It's uninkable. You can only sing it with Rapunzel. Or, I mean, Ursula early. And then, I mean, I guess you have Cindy, Rapunzel. You have 9 cards that can sing it. That's its big issue. So he can't sing it very well. Now, if he's playing 4 Ursula, or like I'm playing, what, 2 or 3 or 2 Ursula, 4 Mulan, like, yeah, I'm maxing on the Zeuses then. But I'm also trying to max songs. And I'll probably rechange that list and up it to 4 Ursulas to play the songs we draw. For a turn. But I do hope Sapphire Steel beats the crap out of Ruby Sapphire. Because I feel it could be maybe easier to compete with that deck than it does with Ruby Sapphire. Like, I think the rest of the meta, I think, would have a slightly better matchup against that than they would against Ruby Sapphire. until they go back to like 4 cogs worth and swords. Then I'd be sad. Oh, really? I did have an Aladdin Diggy Hole list. He's just a rare, so that's good, but there's just a lot of playable cards in this set, honestly. I mean, there is only 3 new cards in this list. But like that's reasonable, I think. I mean, one's a package, like Cinderella plus Shoe. I think like a 3-2 or 4-2 split's fair. But I could easily see this also playing 2 princes, although it's kind of high on the ink. Come on, Boomy, where's your ink count in the name? We got 4, 8, 10, 14, 16. Man, if Shoe was inkable. Yeah, Lawrence, Coda, Doctor. Oh, Coda. Oh, getting aggro. You can post that list if you'd like, if you have a Dreamborn to it. Get this Cogsworth out of here. All right, so this video is a day old, but the other video we watched with Harlan was like 3 days old, and he talked about how he was playing Tamatoa over this. Or no, in one of the videos he said if you can't get Tamatoa, you can play Cogsworth in the Kiwi list. So that would mean to me that he's probably updated the Cogsworth here, so... I do have an Instagram. I just sadly don't use it near enough as I should. But here, let's... Bum. 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 How do I think this will... I think that's my Instagram. Although my picture's with my old jersey. I just don't have a new jersey to swap it yet. I think this deck's going to be good, though. Like... Oh, thank you. I mean, that's so this, what he's saying is true, but it also might mean that the Cindy decks have to adapt and play like 21 drops or 24 1-drops so they can go Cindy and then go 1-drop strength your bell on the play. And then on the draw, that's probably not as good because then the Smee eats the 3-drop, so maybe you go after the Smee instead and don't care as much. It's hard to say, like, because you can't just go Cindy Calhoun anymore because that doesn't answer the bell. So you have to be able to answer Bell. But that also means that maybe the resist 2 draw card is like worth playing again. So you can just like sing it to protect, I guess. It's hard to say. She should have been a 3/2. Maybe that's too good then. Maybe she should be a 2/3. And that's not good enough. She's like perfect. The problem is Cogsworth's kind of mid if they're like 3/3/3/3/3/3/3. Like it's not helping you very much against that, right? Maybe in the mirror, if their 3/3s are just standing up everywhere. I don't know what that one is. Is that the one that gives all your characters +1 attack? Let me find out. Whenever one of your characters challenges another character, if it's a second challenge this turn, gain 3 lore. I don't know about that. I think it might be too hard to do. But if you find yourself always challenging, it could be okay. I wouldn't want to play more than 2. It's like a gain lore action that you can ink. I'm surprised it's pre-selling at $4. So maybe it's been good at something. It is a hero. Heroes have like, it could be good in some Ruby Steel. Where like, since it's a hero and your heroes, like, they have the ability to challenge readied characters more often. You use longbow and stuff. Rob and then Calhoun, yeah. Gain 5 lore from your challenge. I want a 0/2 or 0/4 for 1 that has Singer 2. Inkable. And then give me like an uninkable singable baboom. Let's go Bell. What about turn 1 Bell, turn 2 Flynn Rider? And then play Maurice's workshop on 3, and then play the new Maurice on 4 and answer their guy and put back the popsicle. So bad. It was so funny. Yeah. 1 jump ahead is pretty good. Oh, that feels good. We're going to play 1 jump ahead and Teeth and Ambitions. Man, this light went out too. They only have like 7 hours power, but I was using for something else. I had 6, and I don't know where one of them is. I think my kid played with it and lost it somewhere. Return to Hercules. What, Mufasa? Yeah, be crazy. Ooh. All right. I petition that every event from now on, I think this should be the trophy for almost all the Lorcana events for a while. I think like they should make something like this for like just do like every set they should make a standing figure like this. It's like a trophy kind of thing. Like if I ran a card shop, I would be buying like 4 or 5 of these and then using these as trophies. Like whatever, take $40 out of the event. Easy peasy. Like whatever. Like this is a sick trophy. A trophy that you get to build. You could actually build one if you wanted, use it for pictures, and then send them home with the unbuilt set, or ask them, do you want the built one or do you want to build it yourself, right? Let them choose. And then who knows, maybe they want the built one and then you get to build another one. So if you're a Lego person, that's like extra win, right? Like it seems like a huge win. And like I'm probably going to go buy one of these from Target. Do you think so? Should I buy one of these? Put it on the desk right here next to the Simba and the Jurassic Park dinosaur. I'm not like a huge Hey Hey fan. I don't like dislike Hey Hey. I'm impartial. But like maybe this would make me like Hey Hey more. I think the only reason I'm impartial is because there's a local who's in like love with Hey Hey. What is that piece? Oh, I know what that is. I don't think I've ever seen it not in black or gray, but so the head turns Yeah, that's just a sick Pete. That's just cool. That's why I need a P.O. box, so I could just be like, buy me this, chat. Oh, I'm just a poor streamer. I can't afford cards. The rich get richer. Build that blue steel hey deck. That's the other thing is like you could like change a few colors to make it adjusted. I guess I don't know if the blue hey is sadness. They did. What was I looking for? I got distracted. Hey. Do I not know how to spell hey? Why is it not showing up? Oh, I put a space. I guess it's not a different color scheme. Actually, I don't know, chat, you tell me. Like, it's the reds are dull kind of here. It's like more orange. And there's like blue here instead of there. So like I guess this hey has shoes on and has like a chest piece. Steel claws, yeah. Maybe bigger wings. The wings on this hey are pretty small, and they're pretty big on this one. I don't know. And what is this? What is this? Oh, great. Okay. Open image, a new tab. You're gonna make me zoom in the old-fashioned way. What is in that circle? And then there's a circle there, there's a circle there, and there. Those are just air bubbles? Alright, and he's underwater, it looks like. But it looks like that's like an eyeglass. A monocle? Yeah. Yeah, alright. I mean, so I think you could easily, like, alter this set to look like that. Like, you can do Lego cosplay. You can cosplay your Lego set. Are they going to show the screenshot? Dude, Melissa's on fire. So this is something that like is a thing, and some people just don't think it's true necessarily, or just have never experienced it. But like going back to NBA Jam, like he's heating up, he's warming up. Melissa is heating up. She's on fire, and like she's playing a whole bunch, playing against some of the best people in the game. She's in her groove. She's in her zone. She basically is like Zen, right? So she like knows what people are going to be doing and is able to counter it. She knows exactly where we are in the meta and where she is and what she needs to do to win. And she is just like crushing it. And she's going to maintain this velocity until there's either like a major shakeup. So it's possible that the new set could throw her off if she isn't able to like maintain the velocity she's gained. But most likely she will, because that knowledge of where the meta is, she'll be able to counteract like what it's like. She's going to see the new cards and know how they're going to perfectly fit. Like like the scene in the Queen's Gambit where there's chests on the thing. Like she sees little puzzle pieces of Lorcana cards going to the right spot, right? So if she can channel that and stays on it, she's going to be a force until basically something drastically shakes up the event that she doesn't predict, and then that could throw her off, but like not to the point where like she's a mainstay, right? Currently, she might be the best player on TFM. I don't. She doesn't have the highest finishes, I don't think, but currently she's like has the best performances in recent memory that I can think of. Maybe I'm just like blanking on some other TFM players. Sorry if I am. What can I say? I'm a Melissa stan. It obviously has nothing to do with the fact that she's playing a dock deck. Nothing at all. It's not out of context at all, I'm sure. I'm pretty sure it was a screenshot that was like cropped, so it was taken out of context. So like I don't actually know the full whatever, but she very well could have been like being sarcastic about something, and they just like took the part out that made it like funny joke. Well, I mean it's still funny, but like to just make the opinion red blue's bad. It's gonna make a lot of people super happy. Do you think with those you could make 99 puppy style card? Like you can just play any number of those as you want because that like there's so many of them. Like hmm. I'm like looking at Lego sets and I literally have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sets up there in my like pile of shame. And I know I have 5 or 6 sets over there. Speaking of, does anyone want to buy some Overwatch Lego? Ooh, thanks for the sub.
SS Trudeau with a prime sub.
This is a cool Lego set. It like if you were a Harry Potter fan but you don't want to give Harry Potter money, like I feel like you could easily take the flowers off of this and have a pretty cool wizard uh wand. This is only $12. I feel like it's super expensive for how little pieces it is, but at the same time it's like really cheap for a Lego set. I'm gonna buy these. It's $12 when purchased online. I wonder if it's more at the store. In limited, there's like a common bell that takes it out. You like move 20 damage. That's like the best way to do it. Is like they play this on curve. You send like your 3/4 into their 3/3, and then you play the thing to move damage over. Yeah, building those flowers I don't think are as good for building, but I could see it being Zen. Interesting. I got distracted. I bought my wife the bonsai tree one, and she likes it. She has it at work on her desk. I wish I made like 5 times more money so I could just actually buy Lego and build them and not feel like I was just throwing money away or wasting money. Six boosties. Panic, that's the... Like, I understand that this is like a cool thing, but this should be a $20 set. Why is it $60? Licensing shouldn't make it that much. $51 for a TIE fighter. $240 for a collector version X-Wing. Capitalism really upsets me. $650. This is a big set. This one somehow doesn't actually bother me. I don't know why. That's so cool. That's kind of cool. A 360 Halo Lego set. More expensive than a real Xbox 360. I love his answers here. Maybe Beast is playable and limited just as an answer. I don't know what the items are, but easy to answer. You thought Ray was rough. I know, right? Like, this is cool. But why is it $45? It's 553 pieces. That is not very many pieces. Maybe these are bigger than it looks, but this... Like, advent calendars have... This looks like half of an advent calendar for twice the price. I think this card's not bad. I think that Amethyst Coil is maybe limited playable. That is cool looking. I like the Architect ones. That... I mean, if you have like 4 or 5 of those big 8 drops, like maybe Return of Hercules is worth it. Maybe the card is playable and limited. One. It's the new song, I think. I think it's just the new song. What if, all right, what if they gave us another format where you could play with 3 colors? What if there was like standard, 2-color, and they added a rotation to it? So there's like standard 2, like what should we call it? Classic, original. The format where everything goes. In Magic, it's vintage, but we should have a new name for it, right? Like, classic's a good name, I guess, because that's with everything. That almost kind of seems like a flashback set where it's like you only play with the old cards. But anyway, so you'd have those 2, and then there was like a third format that was everything, but also 3 ink, and that could be like a weird way to do other like synergies and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, if Maribel could have been played in Amber or Amethyst decks, like, sure, this gets eaten by Brawl, but I could see it being played in some Song decks alongside Ariel, right? If everything dies to Brawl, who cares? Um, and with Coil, like, is Gaston worth it? Maybe having the evasive is way more relevant in other matchups. And the fact that you can, like, ping things, which is, like, could be relevant. Like, challenge the genie and then sing for 3. Hakuna Matata. Why do we hate this card? I don't like that it puts him on the top, but that's okay. I kind of like that card, honestly. There isn't one. It costs 3 or less. Also, the fact that this says 3 or less is also interesting. Like, this also makes me feel that this card was initially designed that you could play it in Amber or Amethyst decks. Like, the balancing on all of the cards feels that way, but the actual ruling, I'm pretty sure, is both. Maybe it just has been kind of hinted and it hasn't been, but I think it's officially been shown. But, like, unless they add a third color, like give you the ability to add a third. They're like, all right, we can't figure out how to properly balance Sapphire Ruby. So we're just going to let you play a third color because we found out when we did that, like, sure, everyone played Sapphire, but the other 2 colors kind of were up in the air. Or everyone always played Sapphire Ruby, but then there's 4 different archetypes. Why it is not 5 to get back its own song. Yeah, yeah. But it also could mean that they designed songs that you could get back with, like, maybe there's like a 4 or 5 cost in the new songs that just is too good to get back. Do you say 1 cost? I mean, he's right. He's actually right. I'm instantly like, that's better than Cindy. That's some shenanigans. But it's dual colored. And it can't sing like Storm. It can't, like. That's reasonable. think Minnie Mouse is the only character that doesn't quest for lore naturally, that doesn't have Reckless. Is there other characters that don't have lore? Bare necessities. Be our guest. Queen. What am I thinking of? Queen doesn't quest for lore? Which queen? Oh, the discard queen. You're right, you're right. So 2 cards. You're right. T-bone to Snow White. Ugh. I wonder... I mean, I guess I'll let it finish. Alright. Make sure you go give it a thumbs up, have it play in the background, help the algorithm. Subscribe to the SLTC channel if you want to see other videos like that, as well as the podcasts. Sometimes I even pop in and talk for a little bit. Alright. What was he talking about right at the end? My brain, like, turned off. The queen, and then... I had a thought, and it went away. Closing the browser was like walking through a doorway. It just, like, made my brain turn off. I sent a picture of the Lego thing to my wife, and she's like, LOL, you need a hey to build on stream. I didn't say anything, I just sent the picture. We're talking about Maribel. Oh, the 1-cost singer? Yeah. Like, that's just fair. It's good for the dual card, the dual link. Like, that's just a reasonable thing. Like, that's the type of power creep I would expect on a dueling card, right? There was something else. I can't remember. I'll figure it out as soon as I end the stream. I'll be like, oh yeah, that's what I wanted to do. Ooh, nice. A projector. I kind of want to do something like that eventually. I need to move. That's what I need to do, is find a new place to live. Nice house instead of this slum lord's place. Who we gonna stream? Who we gonna watch? Set 7 in Tabletop Simulator. First chapter JPN display. That's fair. I've been using like old TVs for the longest time, and my buddy got like a curved monitor, and so I'd always been gaming in like 60 hertz, if even, right? And I finally upgraded to a couple curved 32s and have like 165 hertz, and it's like slightly noticeable. Then I went and bought the third, because why not? Old TVs, not old necessarily, but like 30 like 2010 TVs, like from like the used video game store would also have TVs, so you could buy a TV and a video game system. So I just had like random TVs. I still use one up above my thing, so I have the 3 curved in front of me, and then I have one up top. And so when I do the ICL streams, I put the Discord footage up on that, and then I use screen captures on OBS up there, and then like I have my OBS over here, and then I have my main screen, and then I have the right screen, which I normally have basic Discord stuff on. I'm sorry, Blader. Well, you can point to the fact that although it was open deck lists, I misremembered because of my poor memory that my opponent didn't. I thought they had Cinderella Stouthearted, and they didn't. And so I took out their little Cindy because I thought the only way I could lose is if they shifted a Cindy, but it wasn't even in their deck. And on that same, I remember I was talking with B Squared, where he was talking. The person he was casting with goes, "Oh, and a player like that gets to look at the hand and they're memorizing it and they're gonna know for the rest of the game." And B Squared is just like, "Well, I know he doesn't. Like, I know that Luke isn't gonna remember these cards." And like, yeah, I'm gonna forget this like instantly, like as soon as the hand goes away. I want notes. Even if there needs to be like a slight thing being like, please don't write down what you ink on your turn until the next turn. Or I think the best way to do it is to just allow players to look at their ink, and then they're not going to be writing down what they ink. Why am I going to write down what I ink if I have it here, right? Like, I'm going to write down what my opponent inks. And if I'm writing out what my opponent inks, it's on their turn, so I'm not making the game take longer. And that's perfectly reasonable. That would be one thing that I think they could change. And realistically, I think that is a change they could make without breaking the game at all. Like, it's a slight difference, but I think it could make the game better. Just play puppies. What was your argument, Blader? Well, I guess just save it for next chat. Let's see if you can remember. I'm gonna have to pick up my kid here shortly, so I need to raid someone. Any opinions on who we should raid? First opinion gets it. No one cares. Right, Blader? See, Scott. 2 Gaming Nathan. He's not on the list. Hopefully that refreshed it. Jack is on who? Jack is on Whoa. SS Ghosty. Oh. He's nice. Although I think he beat Zen at an LCQ, so he's obviously my mortal enemy. I like that he's got... I'm pretty sure it's hazed on his playlist, or on his playmat. Alright, everyone. Thanks a whole bunch for watching. Let's move this over here. And I will talk to you tomorrow, hopefully with product to open. Otherwise, we're going to be sitting there being sad that we don't have product. I don't know. I wasn't able to stream 2 days ago because my kid was sick, and then yesterday there was a blizzard, and my kid couldn't go to school again. So, I don't know. But I will see you later. Have a great night. And may you open all of the foil Tamatoa Enchanteds.